Hi, this is Justin Trout, Development Team Lead at Association Technology Solutions. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you our National Change of Address module. This is a standalone .NET application that allows for seamless integration with the National Change of Address database and uses the .NET iMIS business objects to export from your iMIS database and then read in address changes and updates to your iMIS database. In addition, these changes will automatically be logged according to the change logging you already have set up in your iMIS installation. This innovative system is a low-cost method for iMIS users to update their database with accurate address information. And as of November 23, 2008, the United States Postal Service requires address change software. For this application, we've partnered with Lorton Data, an authorized National Change of Address database provider for the United States Postal Service. So that's our actual clearinghouse for making changes to the address. So I'm going to go ahead and start here, and what I've already done is gone ahead and set up. I've installed iMIS here with some test data, and I've installed the ATS National Change of Address module here. So I'll go ahead and open that up and show you some of the settings windows to begin with. First off is the database settings window, where you enter information about where your iMIS installation is located and what iMIS account you want to use to connect to that. We strongly suggest using Manager account, as that tends to have the permissions necessary to run it. Although if you know it's different, you can feel free to change that. We also store this information in the registry, so you don't have to retype it every time we want to connect to your iMIS installation. And it is all passwords and everything are encrypted in the registry, so you can choose to check that box. If you don't, it'll just pop up and ask you to re-enter the information for each time that it's going to connect to your iMIS installation. So definitely recommend encrypting and saving. The application settings is where you enter all your data about your account with Lorton Data, the actual NCOA processor. So you can choose what level of service you want, what kind of matching logic you want, what mail classes you want to check, your username and password, whether or not to actually save the export file of all the addresses that are sent to Lorton, or if you want to save the import file that comes back from Lorton. I definitely recommend doing both and then going through and manually deleting those if you want to save the space after it's already been run. But in case there's any issues with the data that's imported or exported, it's nice to have that to go back to. Another option you have is to automatically update chapters. If you have your iMIS installation set up to automatically set chapter numbers based on the zip codes table, you can check the box, and anytime a zip code is actually updated, that'll make sure iMIS automatically adjusts the chapters as well, like it would if you were entering the address through the iMIS client. There's also an NA chapter number, and what that is whatever number you want to assign. I've seen some people do 00, 000. It just has to be set up in your chapters table, and that will only ever get assigned if somehow someone has a zip code that that doesn't match something in your zip codes table. So iMIS isn't able to assign a chapter. This is what it would assign in its place. And then finally, the update bad address flag, which allows you to make sure that if an address that you have flagged with a status other than blank or active in iMIS comes back with an updated address, you can clear that bad address flag automatically. The final setting is manage PAFs. That's processing acknowledgement form, and that's required by Lorton Data on behalf of the United States Postal Service to comply with federal regulations and Privacy Act of 1974. So anytime before you're actually going to have a job processed, you're going to want to make sure that you've got your path selected here and the correct one. And here we've got my test ones, and that will be associated with the job that gets submitted to Lorton. So that's something you really only need to do once. Most people only have one on file. So we're back to the main window now. On file, you can pretty much exit. On help, you can see information about. Nothing too exciting there, but the main window is where all the work really gets done. Every time you change a setting or open the program, it'll automatically check the Lorton servers to see if you have any jobs waiting to be imported. In this case, no new data is available at this point in time, but I can click check again, and it'll go out to the server. You just saw it was pretty quick, and check to see if I have any jobs waiting. For the export, this box automatically gets loaded with all of your ad hoc queries in iMIS. So you can choose to manage who you send to Lorton, what addresses get sent to be updated. And you might only want to send active records. You might only want to have your clients checked. You probably don't want to waste your credits at Lorton checking inactive or records that it doesn't particularly matter to you whether or not they're updated or not. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and select one of my ad hoc queries out of iMIS, active records, and click the export button. And it gives you some information down here with the progress. And that was pretty quick, but it can take some time if you've got a whole lot of records you're exporting. In this case, I think it's somewhere around the range of 600. So it doesn't take very long to do the export, but it'll give you progress information as you go, preparing link with Lorton Data and actually uploading the data, and then of course it tells you once the export's complete. So at this point I've exported the job, and since I've set in my application that I want to make sure I'm saving the exports, recheck that. I can even go ahead and click right here and I can see it. So this is my export for 1020. You can see it's only 29 kilobytes, so that can get quite a bit quicker. But here is the actual CSV file with all the addresses and all the data and everything that was sent to Lorton. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and pause, and I'll come back when there is some new data to import. Okay, I've been notified by Lorton Data that our job is complete. So if I click check again, I should have some data to import. Sure enough, new data is available for import. So I've opened up my iMIS here, and I've got it open to my personal record. And you can see the address here is 2172 Hackberry Circle. Now that's my old address. So when I go ahead and import this job, hopefully we'll see that updated. And you click on the Import Updated Addresses button, it brings up a new window here. And this will list any jobs that are still outstanding and have not been processed from Lorton. So in this case, we only have the one that we just submitted. We can go ahead and select that and say Import Selected Job. As soon as I do that, it's hands off. Downloads the job, unzips it, reads in the job data, updates all the records in iMIS, shows us when it's processing records that have been updated and making any changes, and it tells us job successfully imported. Now it is possible if there's some sort of data corruption or something doesn't fit with how iMIS wants it, that the IBO could come back with some sort of error. In that case, you won't get job successfully imported. You'll get a message that tells you that the job was imported but that there were errors doing it, and that you should look on the desktop of the currently logged in user to view a log of any errors that happened during the import. But in that case, it would just be right here on your desktop. There would be a log, and you open it up, and it would tell you each record that it wasn't able to update and why, so that you can get those issues resolved. But in this case, like in most cases, everything imported fine. And you'll notice as soon as I imported that data, now I'm back to no new data is available for import at this time, and I can't click here on the Import Updated Addresses because it's been done. So now if I come back here and reload my own record, we should go ahead and see that address change, and sure enough, now it reflects 702 Clarendon Drive, my new address. And then if I scroll over this way and open up the change log, I can see that manager, that's the user we selected when we set up the application, did an update to full address, changing it from 2172 Hackberry Circle to 702 Clarendon Drive. So that's it. From here, you can feel free to run reports in iMIS and see what addresses were changed on this particular date. You could certainly go in like we did when we were looking at what the import job itself or the export job itself looked like. If we go into the application settings, we can see where the import files are saved. And in here, sure enough, we've got, these are two jobs that I've imported, and then a folder for each as they're unzipped to be processed. And then it gives you this CSV file here is actually what contains all the data. So we could even go in here and see all the raw data of what came back and what was actually updated. So that's it. It's a pretty powerful yet simple application to use. If you have any questions, we encourage you to contact us either through our website at www.atsol.org or by sending an email to info@atsol.org. Thank you very much for your time.